players to get warmed up before the start of the game. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to 2K Sports for this NBA presentation. Alongside Doris Burke and Greg Anthony, this is Kevin Harlan. And on the sidelines, Hall of Famer David Aldridge. Looking now at the lineups for both teams tonight, some names out of action.
And it feels early to be already missing players from the lineup, but how these teams respond will impact the outcome of this game.
Here are the starters for Los Angeles. Harden out there with Chris Dunn. Then it's John Collins. Then it's Ivica Zubac. And it's Leonard in at the small forward. And for the Hawks, the front court is Rizier and Johnson. Daniels out there with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And it's Porzingis in at the center, locking down the middle. Recently, Doris, the Clippers have had their most successful stretch in franchise history.
Well, think about it, Kevin. They've only missed the playoffs twice, going all the way back to 2012. They made their first conference finals in team history back in 2021. Not bad for a franchise that had one of the worst win-loss records in league history. 7'6" wingspan, sending it back. Kristaps Porzingis with the rejection.
To the wing right side. The Hawks working the ball around. Here's Daniels, and they pick up 2.
And once he got to the 10, I think he was surprised to find himself that wide open.
I think defensively, that is not the way you want to start. Giving up high percentage looks, that doesn't typically end well.
Out of bounds, it'll go to the Hawks. Atlanta with the ball. Setting the latest now from our sideline reporter, David Aldridge. David, it's all yours. Take it away.
Well, earlier I spoke with Quinn Snyder. Now I asked him how they plan to limit the effectiveness of Kawhi Leonard. Coach said the thing with Kawhi is that even if you're able to slow him down offensively, he'll find a way to impact the game with his defense. He's one of the best two-way players the game has ever seen. So they won't have a moment's rest tonight, Kevin.
Thank you, David.
Because Kawhi Leonard has such a well-rounded offensive game, it's easy for him to put the defense in a bad position, draws contact there.
And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. When Kawhi Leonard is healthy, Doris, no one has a bigger effect on a game than this great two-way player.
There's no question, Kevin, because of his length and savvy on the defensive end. He can swallow up individual offensive matchups. He's that good defensively. And then you think to his transition on the offensive end from a player who was a standstill shooter to now who you can run your offense through.
Leonard kicks to Harden. And no good. Good D by Johnson. The Hawks have gotten their first 3 shots to go in for him to start off this game. Alexander Walker up top. Pass to Daniels. To the wing on the left. Here's Porzingis. It's hauled in by Zubac.
Boy, if you're going up against this guy in this close a range, you've got to defend with everything you've got. A tremendous job defensively.
Harden's shot is good.
I tell you, James Harden's ability to power through contact and finish with bodies around him is something else.
Here's Rizier. And he gets the whistle. 2 free throws coming up. And Rizier, the prototypical size and skill for a wingman.
Yeah, he's got some jelly to his game. Handle, touch. At his size, that becomes very tough to contain.
Here's what the Clippers are going with right now. Brook Lopez is checked in for Zubac, and Paul subbed in for Chris Dunn. For the Hawks, Gay's checked in, and Wallace subbed in for Rizier. Here's Harden, kicks it out to Collins. That shot is off. Here's Krejci. He's covered by Leonard. Wallace looking for an opening. Pass to Porzingis. Fires the 3. It's not going to go for him. Clippers trail by 5. Here's Paul. And here's Harden for 3. It's good. It's his second basket. He's shooting 2 for 4.
Everybody knows that corner three is one of the easier three-point shots. It's just slightly closer in. James Harden doesn't need a whole lot more than that.
1 second left, and it's sent back by Lopez. 1 quarter in the books, and it's been a close one so far. Hawks lead by 2. And some good action in the books as we get back to the game that's been pretty close here so far. And looking at what we've seen from the Hawks, what do you guys think?
Well, the offense is clicking, and they seem to have seized the momentum here early on.
Boy, it's been a really pretty thing to watch, executing their game plan to perfection.
So with Leonard on the bench, here's who Tyronn Lue's going with. The post pairing, Batum and Zubac. Chris Paul is out there with Bogdanovich, and it's Miller in at the 3 spot. And Greg, you talk about toughness, a compete factor. How does a team create that culture?
Call it critical mass. When you have the entire organization and enough players committed to that kind of effort, everyone has to meet that level.
This is a great option for Luke Kennard. They're going to run him off the three-point line, so you make a pull-up jump shot. That is nicely done.
Miller outside. 2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul. It's going to go on Onyeka Okongwu. The Clippers shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the night. And with this era of the Atlanta Hawks, Greg, they've gone as far as their defense has let them.
You look back at their conference finals run in 21, that was the last time they had a top 10 defense. So scoring's never been the issue with this core, but defense has been non-existent.
The shot's good from Kennard.
How about that? Luke Kennard looking very comfortable on the interior. That's a tremendous finish.
Harden, no good.
Well, defensively, if you allow him to get this close, you're playing with fire. He just happened to miss that one.
Johnson outside. Nice ball movement here by Atlanta. Kennard for 3. The shot that time, not on target. And it's Harden with the ball for L.A. 7-point differential, and it's Miller with the jam.
Not only is James Harden one of the elite one-on-one players, this guy is an elite passer, and it's on display there.
1:20 left in the second quarter. To the paint, here's Okongwu. And Okongwu slams it in.
Well, he's such a good athlete for a center. It's how he's able to succeed despite being one of the smallest 5s in the NBA.
So for the Hawks, Porzingis is coming in for Johnson. And Dyson Daniels subbed in for Kennard. The Clippers also changing it up. Lopez, he's checked in for Zubac. Brown comes in for Nicholas Batum. And it's Leonard in for Miller.
Yeah, James Harden's ability to finish with either hand, so crafty, understanding how to navigate around defenses when he's in the painted area.
Not the kind of aggressive defense they need to cut into the lead.
Yeah, you have to protect the rim, Greg, a little better.
They're just too slow to react. You can't afford to sleepwalk through possessions. What's going on out there?
And the shot goes in.
This guy, a tough cover for any defender. Creative and assertive scoring the ball.
Here's Porzingis. Lopez with the block.
Well, Lopez twice on the pipes. He has the length to do this every time on the defensive end.
Here's Leonard. Good. Kawhi working near the hoop. Here in the second quarter, we've played a little over 2.5 minutes now. And here's Daniels. There's 14 seconds left to play in the first half. 5 on the clock. Here's the screen. Here's Ricochet. That 3 off the mark. So that'll be it for the first half. Fairly even battle underway in this one. Hawks ahead, up 3. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much. With Quinn Snyder. Coach, great offense in the first half. What made it possible?
I think we're executing pretty well. Moving them around a little bit with some fakes. And guys are just playing aggressive as much as anything. hopefully we get a few more stops.
It's been good so far, Coach. Thanks for your time. Back to you.
All right, thank you, David. And folks, don't go away. After the break, we'll see you right back here for the start of quarter number 3. And after a fairly even first couple of quarters, the second half could turn out to be a great one as both teams try to gain an edge. One of the stories here, James Harden getting it done today.
Man, he's been running wild on them through that first half. Absolute dynamite on offense.
Boy, he has been shouldering the load. Aggressive, skilled, talented, and thus far unstoppable.
The front court is Rizachet and Johnson. Daniels out there with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And it's Porzingis in at the center position. That's the group starting the second half for Quinn Snyder. And now we've got some time to check in from the sidelines. You got for us, DA?
Kevin, thanks very much. James Harden is still a factor at age 35. He says, I'm more than a scorer, so for me, it's just impacting the game at the highest level. Kevin, he's led the league in scoring 3 times, but has also led the league in assists. So, pretty much true. Back to you.
Thank you, David. Oh, don't forget, he rebounds as well as any guard right now in the NBA. Connects from three-point range.
This is as pure a shooter as there is. You've got to stay connected or it's a problem.
And Kawhi Leonard with the slam.
Boy, what is more fear-invoking than Kawhi off the bounce near the cup? Look out.
And we'll have a timeout called by Quinn Snyder. He wants to regroup and go over the strategy. Here's Alexander Walker. Still scoreless. Talk about confidence. Greg, what do you think about Harden's quote from a couple years ago when he said, I'm not a system player, I am the system?
Kevin, I laughed when I heard it because most guys couldn't say that. But Harden absolutely can. He's an elite scorer turned elite passer. Your offense has to orbit around him when he's on the floor.
A putback, and it's Zubac with the extra effort. And that makes it a tie ball game.
You love to see Zubac get after it on the window. Use that size and strength.
Here's Alexander Walker, guarded by Harden. The shot's good from Alexander Walker. Alexander Walker's got his first 3 points of the game.
And he found the perfect spot behind the arc there. Big gap in the D.
Harden the pass to Leonard. Floats one up. Harden has a wide open look. Porzingis with the rebound.
All alone from mid-range. They know he won't miss many of those.
Here's Johnson. Count that bucket. Now it's a 5-point Atlanta lead. And it's Harden with the ball for Los Angeles. Leonard on the wing. Aggressive move inside from Kawhi.
The toughness and tenacity very much describe Kawhi Leonard's game.
Johnson outside. Rizachet sets the screen for Johnson. Back to Alexander Walker. Pass to Johnson. Beat the shot clock, but it's off the mark. Here's Leonard. Comes up empty down low. It's still anybody's game as we've reached the end of 3. Hawks lead by 3. 2K Sports back in. Well, this has been a great contest so far, and I imagine the fourth quarter could have even more action in store for us. And on the floor for the Clippers here in the fourth, John Collins is out there with Ivica Zubac. Then it's Harden. Then it's Chris Dunn. And it's Leonard in at the small forward position. Pass to Rizachet. Johnson surveying the floor. Alexander Walker with the ball. Takes the three. It's hauled in by Zubats. Zubats has got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Harden. That doesn't go in. Had a chance, though, to take the lead. The Hawks leading. Daniels passes to Alexander Walker. Down low. And then Johnson with the jam.
And he's an automatic finisher when he gets into that area.
He is, and he picks the simple one-hand stuff to get the 2 points. Harden dishes to Leonard. Look at the focus from Leonard. Wow!
Why, he's such a fiery competitor. He won't back down in the face of adversity.
And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for the Hawks.
The three-pointers and how well they're able to shoot them. You wonder if they can keep it up, and boy, have they.
Well, I also noticed, guys, how much they move the ball in this one. Selfless, willing to pass the ball to a teammate with a better look.
And while we've got a moment, let's send it over to our terrific reporter, David Aldridge. David?
During that last break, Kevin, I got a chance to hear what Quinn Snyder said to his team. He told them this is what it's all about, proving we're the better team in a tough situation. But you got to want it. Coach told his guys they have what it takes to win here. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, David. Here's Harden. It's rebounded by Porzingis. Atlanta's gotten fewer than half of their three-pointers to go down tonight. They're 4 for 9. They grab their own miss. Porzingis with a screen on Collins. Here's Johnson, and then Johnson with the jam.
And credit the screen for giving him the space he needed to get to the rim.
For sure, GA allows him to come in with the sledgehammer.
Boy, that's a play you just practice time and time again, and that's the result of the work put in.
Showing no hesitation, and in a huge moment, Kawhi wants the ball when they need a bucket.
And the dunk by Porzingis.
Embrace the spotlight, KP. Delivery in a big moment for Porzingis.
Done. Now Harden. From outside the arc. Rebound by Johnson. Out left to the wing. Rizachet wide open. That's good, and it's Johnson with the assist. Rizachet's got the lead up to 7 now for the Hawks. Zubats kicks to Harden. Moves back up. It falls! Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5.
Boy, that's a big-time finish at the critical moment. Zubats with a clutch shot.
And so they foul intentionally. And it goes out of bounds. That went off Porzingis.
Boy, not sure what happened on that one. Just an unforced error.
.36 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Pass to Harden from the arc. Good! And he has brought them to within 2 points.
So much riding on that shot. What a bucket.
I'll tell you, that changes things, doesn't it? Good job, young fella. What a game.
And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
And really, the defense fouling there to prevent the layup.
The coach's challenge has been issued. Close game like this, down to the wire, this is what it's for.
And I think when it comes to some of the more difficult calls, fast, that it's really tough to catch everything in real time.
The wonders of technology. We've seen replay reviews so effective.
After the review, the ruling on the floor is overturned.
We've been hoping for. And the announcement on the review is that the foul was called in error. So they have determined to overrule the original call.
And guys, this is what it's all about, getting the call right. And I think in this case, the video review showed that while it was a tough call to make on the floor, they got it right with the review.
Outside Leonard. It falls! But hang on, guys. Hold everything. The officials may review it here. And the last shot is going to be originally a basket. We'll see if it gets overturned, which would end the game. However, if it is ruled good, we'll be heading to overtime.
After the review, the ruling on the floor is overturned.
The officials are confirming the call. The basket does count. And we are heading for overtime. Boy, oh boy, Greg, was that ever close.
Kevin, it really was. I got to admit, I didn't think he got it off in time, but the replay clearly showed the officials had it right. Very fitting that we're going to overtime.
And regulation now complete. We will go to overtime. And we'll return shortly. Well, 4 quarters weren't enough to decide this ball game. Sit back and enjoy as we move on to overtime.
Here we go.
Alexander Walker with the ball. The front court is Deixe and Johnson. Nickeil Alexander-Walker out there with Daniels. And it's Porzingis in at the 5. It's good. Porzingis has got the first basket here in overtime for the Hawks.
Well, Kristaps Porzingis with that release point and that size, difficult to check in the painted area.
And foul on the shot. He'll shoot 2 at the free throw line.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
He doesn't hit the first, and that was the one they really wanted. He's got one more, though, and he ends up making the second, and that narrows the gap to 1.
James Harden brings tremendous versatility. He can score it, he can distribute. Whatever you need from him offensively, he can provide it.
Pass to Deixe. Here's Alexander Walker, guarded by Harden. Here's Porzingis. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. Zubac has got rebound number 7 for him tonight. It's Harden with the drive. Leonard finds Collins. Collins setting the pick for Leonard. And contact on the shot, so he'll be shooting free throws here. It goes on Jalen Johnson.
Very difficult to just stop Kawhi inside. He's a powerful player who commits to his attacks.
Good on the first, and that ties the game up. And so he's good on both free throws, and that gives them the lead.
You get the sense this guy relishes getting to the free throw line in these tough moments. You talk about clutch, this guy is it.
A minute into overtime in what has been a great game so far. And it's in after a nice bounce off the right side. Porzingis has got 4 this quarter.
From the mid-range, Kristaps Porzingis release point so high.
Dunn passes to Leonard. Kicks it out to Harden to the left side wing. 5 to shoot. Here's Collins. Money!
And pressure doesn't get to Collins. Baskets like that prove how locked in he is.
Porzingis. Yes!
Can't afford these defensive breakdowns, especially down the stretch.
And right now, neither side can get a stop. Looks like both coaches will have plenty of material for the film room.
Now here's Leonard. Zubac with the screen for Leonard. Leonard draws the double. The Clippers need to get off a shot. Dunn, wide open, he fires. Drains it from downtown.
Oh, it's a big-time bucket. Chris Dunn doing work.
And timeout is called by Quinn Snyder. Coach clearly feeling the necessity to regroup with so much at stake here. Thoughts on what Coach wants to do here?
And they've got plenty of time to get a basket.
Well, they've got to be aggressive, guys, because the defense doesn't want to foul here.
Here's Alexander Walker, guarded by Harden. Back to Porzingis. No good.
2 shots.
And the first of 2, no good. Heartbreaker. So he comes up empty, missing both. And there's the intentional foul. No choice but to stop the clock here.
That's right. No other option but to foul and hope for some misses.
And he misses the first one. Boy, he wanted that one to fall. That's good, going 1 of 2 from the line, and that makes it a 3-point lead. So it's Los Angeles taking the W in a close one. And they had some nervous moments down the stretch, but things finally came together for them in overtime.
Yeah, probably didn't anticipate that this one would be that close down the wire, but give them credit. They were able to regroup in that overtime, and this win has to feel satisfying.
And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thanks very much, Kawhi. The defense, of course, keyed in on slowing you down tonight, but your teammates stepped up. How important is that for you?
It feels great, you know. That's what a championship team is about. You know, when your star's not going or they double teaming you, then you got other guys knocking down big shots like they did tonight.
The others came correct, man, and you got the dub. Congrats. Back to you.
Much appreciated, David. And that'll wrap it up, folks. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. And now, our player of the game, James Harden.